here we go again. Number 11 of the Darkness to Light Godcast. Welcome back again, those of you who are returning. And catch my breath a wee bit. It's always interesting just before I come on here. Murphy's a wee bit unsettled. It's normally just me and her, and there's no really kind of set time as to when I do them. But this one's been brewing the last kind of 2 or 3 days, and it's interesting watching how they evolve and how they progress, following on from last week, and where I am just now this week, and then the new stuff that's coming up, and even the expansion that's taken place since the last one. It's great to be in this at this moment in time, and having this ability with this setup, with the digital setup. Both obviously for this, but more so for the community and the Vortex programme and the people that are tuning in, and the expansion that's taken place this week with that, which has been much needed, I think for all of us, definitely for me. I've got a lot out of it. It's been a kind of seamless transition that came about really kind of very quickly last week, with the desire for me to up my game, and for me to start putting more time into myself and doing the things that made me feel good. That's what it came from, and it's led into so much stuff this week, and this episode number 11 is going to be talking about that, in terms of what that is, what the work is, what the how it goes together, what the programme is, what we're doing in the programme, how it's changed massively. I feel just this week, this last few days, it's became something that I kind of felt and hoped and probably kind of knew that it would, but just a case of when it would happen. Just now we are experiencing a wee bit of, in fact a big bit of freedom. We're still not quite there yet, but the children are away, they're working away, and it's just me, Jill, my wife, and the dog in the house, and the new freedoms that's affording us and affording me with this work. This is the 3rd week, but kind of starting to find my feet with it and starting to realise that I can pretty much do what I want when I want, which I've never been able to really do before. Even going from the corporate workplace and the building trade and then into this, you're still in that mindset of kind of 35 years and working against the clock, and then in business and stress and strain, and then when you take it into this, there's still those old programs. You never really and I feel as if I'm always working with this probably. You're always kind of working on it. You never really take a break from it. So the evolution of it and what it's gotten to this week and where we are as we stand. The programme is probably the most exciting part for me of all the stuff that I'm doing just now. The way that it came together and how quick it came together, and how it was put together with Michael and Fern has been incredible. I thought we were at least another year and a half, maybe 2 years away. Always thought the book would have been released first, and then once the book came out, I would be talking about the book, and then obviously, right, what is it that I'm teaching, and then it's then talking about the programme, and then all the different parts to the programme, and then probably releasing like a bound, like a book or a copy to talk about the programme, and then teach it in that way, and then to see how it has actually manifested and developed and became a thing, for probably January time to now. It's a vibrant online community where there's so much stuff going on and being added to every single day, and the experiences that are happening within in many different ways, but I suppose primarily the lives, the meditations, the breathwork, and the and the relaxation and the meditations we're doing together. That's the bit that's most exciting for me, and seeing people coming in and sticking on about the work, and now for the first time having somewhere that they can because always in the past it was a one-off thing. You come and get the experience, you come and life-changing experiences many times, like thousands of times over the years. So many people have came in and switched off their stress and got out their head and reconnected back into their hearts and their souls, and brought stuff up and healed stuff and transcended stuff and got beyond stuff and left stuff behind. That's what it does. That's what this work is all about. That's what this vehicle is all about. It's a tool for healing. As I always say, get it up, get it out, and then we'll replace it. So that's the intention with it. So that's been the evidence and the results that we've been getting. And when people go through that, the changes that are made, it can be like a quantum experience. It's the people experiencing, just peace of mind for the first time in their lives. That's a given. But when you reconnect back into your heart and you start to think about, the feelings of your heart, and you start to connect and remember, what things like happiness feels like, and what fun feels like, and what joy feels like. Before you even start to go up the scale up towards things like, the higher vibrations, like, things like unconditional love, and what that is, and then how that feeds into, how you can experience that and feel it within the heart. Which obviously leads into meditation, and then the whole topic about God and spirituality and what meditation is, and so that's a one-off. That's when people come for the first time. That's pretty much what I'm presenting. That's what I've always done. I've never held back. I've never restricted it. I've always just really kind of spoke about, and I suppose taught for where I am and the stuff that I'm at. I tried way back. I remember doing a law of attraction workshop about probably 7 or 8 years ago, and I remember looking at the big whiteboard at the end of it, and it's just like this, mathematical, just insanity, like an equation that was just things everywhere. And I remember looking at it, and I could understand it. And one of the girls on the group says, I get what you mean. She understood what I was talking about. And then the two of us looked at the board, and it was like, it was too much, so when you try to teach, when I tried to teach, and that was me going back the way, that was me going back and going, right, okay, what do people need? Right, let's teach the law of attraction, and then trying to explain it, and then giving the evidence of it. The whole day was about that. It was intense, it was full on. But at the end of the day, I don't think I understood the law of attraction. It's certainly the way I was trying to teach it. But, the level of and the way that I like to the information comes through, the level that I'm at in terms of where I've got my boat in the water and how well I'm doing, I think I've always found that teaching from that place is the easiest way to do it. Then you're just really reporting, what it is that you're doing. And this week it's been fascinating, probably since just after Ricky left and went back to Portugal. It's funny I'm not being here now and having his presence about. I was with him for the best part of 3 full days. So now that he's away back, and probably since then, I kind of had the inkling that something was coming. I could feel that something was needing to change. I missed 2 lives down in Birmingham. I missed a live with the group, and then when I come back up, the day of One Day to Change Your Life, we didn't do one, and then the Wednesday morning I had an IT issue with my internet, where the settings had all been we're back to front, it didn't work. So we'd missed like 3 lives, not quite in the bounce, I don't think. There was one in the middle of all of that, but I could just feel, how much people were, almost needing, to be part of that group and part of that experience. It's twice a week, or it was twice a week at the time, Sunday night, Sunday service. 9 o'clock normally, which is guided breathwork, relaxation. The best week ever, starts the night before. That's the premise. We go in and we set a vibration for the week and prepare for sleep and all that kind of good stuff. And I've been doing that since the beginning now. It's been fantastic. It's been probably a couple of months now. And then the Wednesday morning, Rise and Shine. Very different, obviously, different time of the day and the start of the day, and some of the experiences have been incredible, and the connections being made within the group, and I'm talking a lot about transmission and what's coming through, and people are starting to, you can feel it when everybody's in coherence in their heart. It's really powerful, to feel, people from, we've now went international. There's people now coming in from across the border. We've got our first Englishman in the group, which is magic. So it's just interesting when people go through the experience. They know how to switch off their head. They know how to reconnect back in the heart. They know what I'm talking about when I'm talking about meditation. When I'm talking about God, and understand the language, which I think is very important. People get known about this to learn what it is I'm talking about. To the bridges that I'm, providing in terms of what things mean to me and how I'm explaining that. Once you get beyond that, then when you can come in and actually go through the meditation process and you know what's actually happening, then you start to get the benefits from it. And it's just incredible when people are coming in and switching off their heads and their minds and reconnecting back into their hearts and back into their souls, and the goodness that they are, the goodness that we all are. What is actually, whatever it is going down within that space in those early morning, in particular meditations are the most powerful for me, that sacred time. So when I came back, and obviously we'd missed a couple, and it just didn't feel right, and people were kind of, it didn't feel, it wasn't the way that I wanted it. So then, as always, what can you do? And the programme for me, the thing with the programme is the intention is to take it to the many. It's been, nearly 3 months now, probably. It's been live. The first month was kind of inner circle only, just to kind of get the teething problems out, which we're still facing. There's still things. It's getting easier and easier, and it's quite simple now. We're not quite at the stage of having our own app yet. Michael's designed an entire way where you can basically go in and access all the videos and the information, and all the lives are recorded, so you can go back in and listen to them again, which is something that, as I've said on here before, it's really important, because people will come in and get that first experience, and then they go away and you can't get it anywhere else, in terms of there's nothing else like this. And the quantum shifts that take place because of the music, and because of the space, and because of my intention and the way that I'm doing it, then obviously naturally you would want to have access to that, again, in your own time, so you didn't need to have to come here. And it was always a kind of shyness thing for me. I was never ready. I've always been aware of letting things unfold in their own time with all of this stuff, with every bit of it. There's no rush with this. It's so vast, the system itself and the programme, that you can't rush it. I've always known that, so I've just been kind of letting it unfold, wee bit by wee bit, and now to see where the programme is, and the stage, and how quick it's gotten to this stage, and watching people come in, and how quickly things are turning around about for them. How quick they're getting their life back into the way it's meant to be, back into balance and back into coherence, and starting to feel better, and getting back into the flow, and experiencing things like being happy again, and being joyful, and being awake, and being aware, the kind of basics, and how quick things can turn around. So the work itself, and how it goes together, once you learn it, once you see how it goes together, I think, the challenge that people face is, number one, they're lazy. The people kind of want you to do it for them, I do believe. I remember that for me back in the day. A couple of people I would go and see, and I would listen to them, and it was like a band-aid. I would see them, I'd listen to them, and I would maybe talk about where I was, and you'd feel as if you were getting stuff up and out, but inside a couple of days, you would be back to kind of struggling a wee bit again. Never really kind of seemed to get beyond or make much progress with that kind of stuff. And for me, the way that I've always felt is best to get this is for yourself. Nobody can give it to you. There's fundamentals and basics, the kind of the pillars, I suppose, the foundations of the programme, which I believe everybody should be doing and needs to be doing in some capacity. Things like breathwork, breathing properly, things like sleeping properly, being able to relax your mind, peace of mind, switching off your head, being able to give yourself a break from you, switch off your nervous system. Without being able to do that, you've no chance. You really don't. And then once you get to kind of that stage, then obviously the meditation. Once you taste that, then if you're not doing it, you're off your nut. If you're not, tuning in to the energy that creates worlds, tapping into the field of consciousness, the divine. If you're not doing that at least once a day in these times, then it's just something that it's a must. Once you experience it, it's just a must. Once you know what it is, and you realise it isn't a religion, and it's not about any of that kind of stuff. It's tapping back into the divinity that we carry inside of us. Everything gets better, so the tools, the techniques, the practices, the different principles, I suppose the philosophy of this way of living, this intentional way of living, which is what I'm selling. It's about taking back control and taking responsibility for every single thing that comes your way in this lifetime. And if it isn't going the way that it is, you would like it to be, then it's like, what can you then do about it? I think survival is where a lot of people are coming in, but thrival is where we're heading. It needs to be. We need to learn these tools and techniques and take back our power, and then rise up and go and then fulfil this life's potential the best that you can, even in these tricky times and circumstances that we're living in. That's the challenge. Life is still going on. We need to make the most of it and the best of it. And it's very easy to be completely beaten down and separated and I suppose decimated to many. And the zoo that this realm is for many people just now, this circus, this world that we're living in, it's very difficult. The times are very difficult. There's no question about it. So many are suffering in so many ways. If I hear one more time, the reference to stress and how people just can't switch it off, just that switched on chronic stress. I've heard that a lot these last couple of weeks. And that's something I've spoken about my own experience, with the vaccine damage for me, from being young, just it feels like your nervous system is switched on, which I believe, autoimmune disease and the body fighting against itself, I don't think that's a thing. And after listening to Anthony William, the medical medium, talking about You know, how, you know, of course the immune system, why would it fight against itself? You know, that this vessel of divine perfection, if it's in good, normal working order, the way that it comes in, you know, then why would it fight against itself? So it's obviously the stuff that's going into it, that's, you know, the challenge, and how the body reacts and how the body responds, and the stresses and the strains that we're living under. There's so much of it just now, there's too much of it, and you know, the system that we rely on, and the answers within that system for the challenges that system gives to us in terms of, you know, dis-ease, and ill health, and, you know, the stuff that people are suffering with. Again, so often, almost all I'm hearing just now is how, you know, people are getting let down by, in this country, the National Health Service, you know, the hospitals, the system, the medications, the procedures, whatever it is, you know, whatever the allopathic model is, and how it's trying to help people and make them better, it isn't working. There's no question about it. It does, either it doesn't work, but it certainly isn't working. I don't believe that it does work, based on my own experiences with myself and with my mum, and, you know, extensive every single day in that hospital for probably 18 months to 2 years with my mum, seeing every situation, you know, every ward, every type of nurse, every type of doctor, you know, all the medications, the food they gave them, the environment, the stuffiness, the lack of air, the toxicity, you know, before you even start to, I mean, the combined vibration of the place, you know, the system killed my mum. The system literally killed my mum. She went in with a broken hip, and then the next day she had E. coli, and her lungs, basically she had pneumonia in her lungs and E. coli at the same time. The first night she was in the hospital, so it was ICU for weeks and weeks and weeks, so she couldn't have her hip repaired, so she couldn't walk. She missed her chance to walk again. And then you add into that the medications and everything I just mentioned, you know, some of the conversations you would overhear, just the ignorance of some of the nurses, you know, and how they would speak about. One of them in particular was talking about how vile the food was the night before, and my mum's just about to be our meals being prepared. You know, and you're just thinking you can't. At the time I was very aware, you can't get healthy and well in that environment. It's nigh on impossible. Definitely if you've got a broken arm, or, you know, you need antibiotics and that kind of stuff for an operation. I get it, but, you know, for the majority of people that are going in, so many of these pills, these medications, these things that you just, at the minute something happens, like whether it's a heart attack or whether it's a stroke or whether it's a, you know, then it's just like, there you go, that's your medication for the rest of your life. And most people just go, aye, okay, and just take them, you know. So, and some of them, I have no doubt, they must do some good, but again, so many times that I see when people start getting around about hospitals and doctors, they start to get sick. You know, the more medications and the more the complications and the more resistance within their body, and they seem to move further and further away from, you know, the way it's meant to be, which is natural, vital health, isn't it? How many people now, how many the old people in their 70s, 80s, 90s are still vital and still moving and still active? No many. There are no many, you know, and many believe, myself included, that in the past we probably lived a good bit longer than we do just now. So you need to then look at the environment and how toxic it is and why it's making us sick, and simply just to see what you can do about it. You know, once you see how bad it is, have a good look, have a good, you know, get into it and then see what the challenges are, learn about that, absolutely. But then it's all about the solutions. And that's where, you know, this way of living, this intentional way of living, if you're not doing this, I don't know how you get through it. I really don't. I don't know how you get through it by, you know, just getting up every day and manning up, you know, and booting up and strutting up, if that's what you need to do, and making your way into the war zone and just battering your way through it, you know, with caffeine and energy drinks and anger and aggression and goals and motivation and, you know, just stress. You know, the realisation of how addicted we are to stress just now for me. Myself as well, you know, I'm just watching my own nervous system and how I am literally switched on to stress. That comes in many different ways. Obviously the good stresses, but we human beings just now and where we are and how difficult it is, you know, with and again I don't know what else there is. There might be other things out there. There might be other stuff, but we're talking about the basics and we're talking about the elements. We're talking about like back to, you know, stripping it all the way back. You know, breath work, relaxation, meditation, cold exposure. Every single bit of that's for free. You know, all of that is available to you, and, you know, the benefits of just that as a starter for 10, before you even start to consider nature in your relationship with nature and the trees and the rivers, and the kind of it's here. I'm looking at it just now. Within 5 minutes, I can see the trees from here. And then you think about how little time we spend connected to the earth. Where we are in Lanark, we are absolutely blessed. But and it's different now. But more and more people, getting in about the nature walks and the trees. But for years and years and years, I used to go around that loop every day for the last 25 years between mountain biking and running and with the Doug as well. There's never anybody there. And you get there on a Saturday night or a Sunday night and. Everybody's in their house, everybody's in their boxes, watching whatever it is they're doing and eating whatever it is they're eating, and it's we're so disconnected from it, and when you look at that at a literal, terming it literally, with your feet being disconnected from the earth, your hands being disconnected from the earth, which is the way at some point that it was. I watch and I often see Murph, which will sit on, when I'll stand against a tree, or I'll sit against a tree and I can feel her just finding a wee spot, and I'm feeling what's coming up either through the earth or through the tree into my hands. And that's something, when you look at the studies and science behind earthing and grounding and what the benefits that will do to you. We're surrounded by it, but we're surrounded by solutions, we're surrounded by things that make stuff better for, just about everything that there is. And that's the challenge, is we see so many people suffering and struggling and kind of limping their way through this life in a place of absolute survival. The environment that they're born into, the way they get through this life, the stuff that they experience, the impact that life, whether it's through others or, their own, when their own kind of falling for grace or whatever it is that happens in your lifetime. It's no easy, it's hugely challenging for so many, this time and space that we're in just now, for whatever reason, whatever you want to blame that on. There's many different ideas as to why it's the way that is. I've got my own ideas, but one thing I do know is it doesn't work. So we then look at, right, okay, what can we do? How can we make it the best we can? So learning the way, learning the practices, learning the program, as I call it. Getting back into nature, back into your own true nature, taking responsibility for everything. Learning how to breathe properly will change your life, and then people ask me, how often should I do this? And then it's obvious to me, it's like you're breathing anyway, so why would you not do it at all times? Which obviously comes from your reasons and your why. Why should you be doing that? That's up to you. This is why this work, and the work that's involved in this work, it takes normally some sort of significant reason to get people run about it. So they actually bring it into the life. Otherwise, why would you do it? It's like cold exposure. It's too difficult, unless you're not well. Unless you've got chronic pain or you're suffering like from, really debilitating mental health, and you're never going to go and sit in an ice bath, especially in winter time. Forget it. So your reasons and your why. What's your reasons? What's your why? And in a really kind of strange way, so many people are suffering just now and getting it really bad that they're being forced to look at different ways of doing it, which. I suppose it's great for the way, it's great for people, and that's certainly what I'm seeing, people getting around about it and asking questions as to, right, okay, what is it you're actually doing? I see the stuff you're doing online, I hear you talk about God, are you mental, is it a cult, and it's like, well, no, this is actually what I mean by that when I'm talking about God and spirituality and meditation, and here's the benefits to you and to everyone, I do believe, it's in every single one of us. And when you get on about it and you learn how it goes together and you start to bring it into your life, because that's the thing. A good friend of mine is away to do a medicine ceremony over the next 3 or 4 days. He left last night and he's gone deep, and he needs to go deep, which is absolutely fantastic. The kind of the reconnection that he's seeking, and the I suppose the healing that's available with these different ways of doing things and different ways of living, and my experience with spirituality, the healing that took place for me within spirituality, sitting in silence, sitting in meditation, after many years, 17, 18 years in the reconnection and the journey that I went on, the way back inside, no matter how you do it, and no matter how you find your way back to it, the only way I do believe you find true fulfillment, is, what I believe that I got was that experience of the divine. And that's what this work is all about. It's about taking people from the external world and the circus and the madness that we're living in just now, and basically stopping all that, and giving yourself some space. As my brother's going to find out the next 3 or 4 days, it's having the space. Once you get the space, either plants will help enable that, but it's being in that space, being in that silence and getting quiet, that the stuff, the answers, the healing, whatever it is you've been looking for, can absolutely come through. That's where it takes place. It's all about creating the sacred space. And when you go through these experiences, when you actually go through something like he's about to, with the medicine, when you come back, that's when the work begins. You don't get it during the ceremony. You don't get it. You get the opportunity to see maybe where you went wrong, or how it's went for you, which happens a lot in meditation. You'll get a chance to look back and really reflect and go, right, okay, I see where the wheels come off there, and then have the opportunity to then go and something about it. But it's when you come back from this, you start to, that's the next, the next 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months, 18 months, 2 years, 5 years, whatever it is. Once you have the awareness and the realisation as to where it went wrong, then it's the day-to-day practices. That's where the real kind of work takes place every single day. And that bit is a bit that a lot of people, I think, were kind of struggling to find, how it went together, and then how do you then go and do that? I mean, what's involved in it? And I just did it myself. I worked out myself. That's the way I did it. I just a wee bit at a time. Never told anybody over many years. To the point where I designed, and live a whole system that's been getting developed since January 1997 is when I started it. Everything mattered, between the food that I ate, the people that I spent time with, what I listened to, what was on the telly, what was going in, what was going out, what my philosophy was, how I slept, supplementation, every single thing, the different modalities and holistic practices, everything mattered. That's been my journey, absolutely. And, when you see people coming into it and they get these really life-changing, profound, like quantum experiences, then at that point, you almost like the first time, it's almost like a gift. You get it for free. You get this just like eureka, massive penny drop moments, and the light comes back on, and you remember, and you reconnect back in, and the tears and all that kind of good stuff. Fantastic. The kind of first time you get it for free, it's almost like a gift. But then after that, a lot of the time when people come off it, and that's what this life experience is meant to be about. You're not meant to be on it all the time. I am far from on it just now. I've got so much stuff going on in so many different ways. But, the work, this is the work. The work keeps going. The intentions are still there to keep it out. So it's almost like being the football player that's injured, in the cup final. You just get dragged onto the pitch. You kind of limp onto the pitch and you strap yourself up and you go on with it. That's kind of what it's like just now. Certainly for me a lot, you're not meant to be on it all the time. But watching people, and this is where the programme and where I feel it's best for people, that people that have had the experience and they go away and they can't quite bring it into their life and they can't quite, use the information or for whatever reason, maybe it's just not their time or, there's so many different reasons as to why it doesn't come together, but now with the programme, there's now a space where, people can come in and the connections that are being made, the relationships that are being made, the connections now, this week, where everything has changed. So the big thing, the big announcement on the programme this week and the big change is now that it's every single day. Last week I decided that for me to do this properly and for me to raise my game and to help people, and it just made so much sense. The timing was perfect. I've been thinking about it for ages, but it was like, right, now the time is right, I can now do it. So as of Monday there, we just started, this is Wednesday, Monday, 5:30, Monday to Friday, there's going to be a live guided breathwork, relaxation, meditation, every single morning, and also with the Sunday night as well. We're still doing the Sunday service, so that only really leaves the Saturday, which there is going to be a meditation space. So it's literally every single day. I'm going to be hosting it 6 days a week. The Saturday I won't be hosting it, and then the plan is I'm obviously still going to be doing it. So it's to then allow people to then go away and do it on their own. If you're doing it 6 days a week with me and it's every single day, then the one day that you're off, you have the option to not do it and just go and do your own thing and do whatever you need to do. Or, if you're really serious about it and you're going to make it like, because there's something about every single day. That's always been a thing for me. If you're going to do it, you do it every single day. When I started the cold exposure or the breath work or whatever it is, the diet or, it's like the medical medium protocols I'm doing just now for the heavy metal detox with the lemon water and the celery. that's been 3.5 to 4 years. Every single day I've done that. I don't think I've missed a single day when I've been here, and it's been available. In terms of the machines and the juicers and the blenders and the supplements, when I'm here I always do it. I always make sure I've got the medicine as it is. I do the work to make sure that it's here, so it's every single day, which is part of my probably addiction, part of the thing that makes me up and just makes me go and do stuff. Some of that's, most of it's really, really good, some of it's negative, absolutely. Even the stress that it generates and how I'm on this, this never-ending kind of mission, especially with this work, the drive to go and not succeed, but to get it out there and to help people and, to fulfil my potential, absolutely, that's a huge part of it. But at the same time, it's then being able to take control and get the balance with it, that. And again, there's so many different lessons to it, and this is where I'm learning as we're going. The programme itself is now live every single day. We now have a community that's meeting up and tuning in every single day. The Telegram group, the content on that, and the rules are brilliant. It was me come up with the rules, and there's like rules like no drama. There's rules like no memes. You're not allowed to put memes on it, So, but basically the idea is I'm not really interested in anybody else's stuff. What I'm interested in is their stuff. When they're up at 5 in the morning and doing their meditation, or they've been up at the lot with their pals and a late on a Sunday night, and the pictures of the kids getting in with them, and the real stuff, the good stuff, the wholesome stuff, the work is what it's about. And watching people getting on about that and how they're now starting to lift each other up. And then the newbies that are coming in and just getting straight into it. Somebody joined yesterday, signed up last night, and then had the experience this morning live online. You can just see and feel, walking into that, geez, it's powerful stuff. So every single day, you're going to be seeing that a fair bit now. Mastery is what we're trying to teach. Mastery of the self, mastery of the feelings, the emotions, of the direct experience of the true self. That's what I believe mastery is. Again, the spiritual well-being, that's my priority. It always has been since this work began. That's the intention with it, is to reconnect with the spiritual side of stuff and have those experiences, the human being, going through this life, and the spiritual being at the same time, just trying to navigate the way through it. Is what I'm doing. It's simple, it's no easy, it's very, very challenging on many fronts. I find for me, and this is where the every single day, with the new lives every single morning, 5:30, Monday to Friday, it's changed my life already, because me helping people and serving through inspiration, no serving at detriment to myself. I tried that, made me no well, but serving people through inspiration, everything's changed inside 3 days. It's incredible how much better I'm feeling. And it's almost like I do that work an hour in the morning time, and I've served God. I've done my work, the deal that I made to be a channel and to help any way that I can, and basically to work for the divine and work for the light. That's what it's all about for me. This is a time of darkness versus light, and we stand in the light, and we stand for the light and the truth of all that is divine. I absolutely do. Nothing to do with religion. We're talking about the source of all creation, God. So that's what this is all about. That's what this work is all about. It's about sharing what I've picked up with my experiences, and then passing on through direct kind of baby steps, and then into the experience itself, so that people can actually wake up and become aware as to a different way of doing things, that gives so much relief to so many things. It literally makes better everything that it touches, the reconnection and the remembering back to all that we are. Everything gets better, and it's the way I do believe that we fix this mess that we're in. So the programme is going fantastic. Every single day is the new kind of, that's going to be the hashtag, which I've been saying for years. It needs to be every single day. If you're serious about it, do it every single day. And my commitment now on the programme, doing the lives every single day, and even on the Saturday when I'm not going to be on live, I'll still be sitting in meditation. So there'll be a connection, which will be the kind of silent in the field, everybody at the same time doing your own thing. That's going to be interesting as well. There's so much expansion coming through this group and through the people that are coming into it, and it's keeping us excited. It's off the back of that now is going to be the tour. So the dates are now up. Dundee is the first one, and just excited. Really kind of excited to share what it is that I've got, what I've learned along the way. And watch what happens to people when they come and get on about it, when they come and really ask that question, or what is it you're doing, and then come with an open heart and an open mind, and allow me to take them through some guided breathwork and relaxation, and switch off their stress, and then we're going to reconnect them back into themselves. We're going to reconnect back into our hearts, hopefully back into our souls as well. We're going to reconnect with each other. It's called the Reset and Reconnect Tour, so part of the reconnection is absolutely yourself first and foremost, and it's not none of it's going to work. And then, we reconnect with each other. And you'll see the pictures, already from different events, the hugs. The tears are great, and I love the tears. Like, get them up at the beginning. You can see the tears. People, I love that. A great opportunity to greet it out. But then, the joy and the hugs at the end of it, we bring in a different, a different vibration. We bring in a different we bring in consciousness. We bring in the reconnection through meditation. It's just amazing to watch the shift that takes place within that. So open heart, open mind, to come in and just, go through the process. And watch what happens to people when they get that, to see them at the end of it and to feel where the group is at the end of it, sitting in nature, hopefully sitting in the sunshine, and, after they've been into the sea or the loch or whatever it is we end up doing, and then watching what happens when people come out and their nervous system are calm, and they're basically, they can't think, because they've got all this good stress, chemistry running through their bloodstream, and they're in control because they're breathing functionally and properly. And just feeling what happens to people inside a couple of hours, 2-3 hours max, and then the relationships and the connections that are built after that. The plan is to take it to the country, and the plan is to take it to the world, truth be told. So this is our first steps into that. We start off in Dundee, which has been getting a kind of mixed response, I must be honest with you. Right into the Lion's Den, a lot of people have been saying, and Dundee's been calling me for years. Originally with Heal Scotland, a lot of people from Dundee reached out, and there was a lot of times where I was trying to get up there. We made it as far as St Andrews, but that's a different thing altogether. I think St Andrews has been like rich kind of private school and university, English lanes, and obviously Americans and all that kind of good stuff as well, which is great, but that's, we're talking about bringing this to the people of Scotland. And a lot of the holiday makers, obviously they could do it as well, but we need to, I want to take this right into right in the middle of the battlefield. Everybody should know this, anybody who is struggling with stress, with inflammation, with worries, with fears, with sickness, whether it's mental health or physical pain, whether they're struggling with anxiety or depression or PTSD or trauma, whether it's for childhood or whether it's for a war or whether it's from, whatever it is, there are solutions, that because the stress that creates and the loop that creates, if you don't know how to turn that off, that's the bit that's going to help make you sick. So we need to switch that off, so giving people peace of mind. And teach them how to relax, and take away these gifts where they can basically go and sit at the end of their day, no matter how it's been, and just let it go and breathe with intention and go back inside and reconnect back into themselves. What a gift. I mean, what an absolute gift. And it's free as well, so it is a literal gift, and that's exciting. That's the best bit for me. That's the best work. And at the same time, we're going to be pushing the programme. We're going to be talking about the programme and hopefully recruiting people for the programme. There's going to be loads of programme members there, people that are on the programme, part of the team, they're in a circle, which I'm excited about. We're planning on meeting up probably the night before it, definitely, possibly the night after it as well, and making these 4 dates, these original dates, just like the programme members kind of get together. And again, the intention with that is a community and watching people, getting about each other and making sense of stuff, and working their way through it with this intentional way of living and working, working style of work in terms of, working your way through it and being proactive with it, and taking responsibility for it. It is work. It is. You don't get it for free. The first one you get for free, you get the experience of it, but after that, once you know how it goes together, and it's vast, it takes a bit of time, there's no rush. You need to go into it and just accept that it's going to take a wee bit of time to learn the language first and foremost, and then to learn how it goes together and how it applies in your life, and then how you can bring it into your life, and whether that's even a thing, like how much you're going to commit to it, how much time you're going to put into yourself, is it every single morning, is it an hour and a half, 2 hours every single morning, is it 15 minutes in the morning, is it twice a day, what do you need, how far are you going to take the diet, how far are you going to take the cold exposure, how far are you going to take, taking things out your life and people out your life, and, the awareness as to, what you're willing to invest in yourself. There's so much in it, so it's doing the work. Once you're doing the work, it's a wee bit at a time, you add it in a wee bit at a time, and I always, the great analogy for me is it doesn't matter when you get there. There's no finish line. I know that this is it. This is the fun. This moment is it. But as long as you're going the right direction, you know, a long time ago I heard that, it's like, just as long as you're moving in the right direction, it doesn't matter if you never get there. Because again, this constant never-ending expanding universe that we're in, and the part that we play in that, eternal and never-ending is kind of what it feels like, you know. So we're trying to chase something that doesn't exist, you know, so then to enjoy it the best that you can as you're going through it. And the programme, intentional living and feeling good. Because remember, that's what it's about, is to put a smile on your face. It's to get you to that place of being in the flow, that place of well-being. My intention is to make the world full of well-beings. That would be great. People going about happy and joyful and loving and compassionate, and investing in each other and in themselves and the communities, and you know, taking responsibility for all it, you know, including, you know, this environment and the planet we're in. Ignorance is killing us. Ignorance is the one thing that's taking us down. And we need to change that, and that's why awareness and direct experience are the antidote to ignorance. You know, because once you experience it, I defy anybody who doesn't want to feel good, unless you're not well. You know, unless you're at such a low vibration where it's just like even the possibility of that isn't there for you. But for most people, I mean, who doesn't want to feel good? And then once you understand the benefits of well-being and the benefits of feeling good and how to get back to that place every single day, the whole world changes. And then literally the whole world can change with enough people in alignment. That's the thing, watching that live this morning, 24 I think this morning was on. No, 24 yesterday, it was 19 this morning. So we're sitting in meditation, I'm just thinking, God, Abraham Hicks used to talk about the power of being in alignment being in alignment with the divine, you know, that inspiration, that spirit coming through you. And Abraham used to say that one person in alignment is more powerful than millions who are not. And I can remember being in alignment, like proper alignment for extended periods when I was learning this stuff. And I always remember thinking, like, how good would it be to have like more than myself and people around about that understood this language and what it can feel like and be like to be in that space where things are coming through you and you're expanding and you're creating and you're being deliberate with your life and you're helping and you're serving and you're making the world a better place. You're an appreciator. And now what I felt this morning and what I'm hearing and seeing and feeling for the group in terms of the good that they're doing in the world, that nobody knows about. You know, it's the opening the door for the wee woman when you're getting into the supermarket. It's the helping her with her bags into her motor. All that stuff. That's how we make the world and get it back to the way it's meant to be. You know, that is the way. The way is the way. Back to the way of truth and back to the way of, you know, the way it was designed to be. You know, the natural way, the natural path. Where boys are boys and girls are girls, and nature is nature. You know, it's black and white. There is no, when it becomes grey and gets muddied up, it doesn't work because that's no truth. It doesn't matter how you dress it up or how you intellectualise it, that isn't the way that it's meant to be. And the way that it's going is so far away from the way that it's meant to be, that this is all about, you know, taking it back into balance, back into coherence with the way that it's meant to be. That's what the way is. The elements, Mother Nature and the divine, you know, the yin and the yang, the black and the white, the male and the female. That's it. That's all we got. Anything more than that is an expansion by man and by science. And that's where things, you know, when you realise how just inadequate, you know, just laughable, you know, the whole scientific model and what it is and what it does and how it basically self-funds itself and the impact that it has on the world in ways you can't even imagine, you know, that whole, whatever that is, you know, them. So, you know, that they are in trouble just now. I know that much. We, the light, are on the rise. The goodness that's in the world is on the rise. People are tired, people are sick, people are broken and had enough. So it's a time to take it back. It's a time to take it back. And that could be a wee bit turbulent. I've kind of felt that for a wee while now. And, you know, that's okay because, you know, obviously we need to take it back. It needs to come back to, you know, the way that it's meant to be. So I believe in what I'm seeing about me, you know, the people that have been through literal wars, some of them their whole lives, and they're still standing, and they're still here for the truth, and they're still here, you know, to serve the divine, a lot of them. They're on this mission to basically help people because of what they've been through, and they're tired of the suffering and the pain. There's so many warriors that are just standing, like, ready to fix and make amends and make this world a better place by doing the work and by tending to themselves and through these quiet processes, the meditations and the going inside and getting these profound, direct experiences, like a real awareness, you know, like quantum experiences of something way different from, you know, most people will ever see, you know, unfortunately. And it's there for everybody. It's available to us all. You know, the power, that divine power that's inside each and every one of us is available to us all, obviously, but You know, it's difficult because of the way belief systems work and the way that it's suppressed and the way you're basically shoehorned, you know, through programming down different streets and away from it. Absolutely, you know, in so many different fronts. You know, so the way is the way. All glory to God for the greatest good always. We keep moving forward. Excited for so many things. Every single day, the programme now, going to be pushing the programme hard, absolutely. Mastery of the self, you know, tending to yourself, getting it for yourself, full alignment with all that you are, the true self, the authentic self. And then enjoying the practices, you know, enjoying the practices and the journey as you go. Very important. It's hugely important to savour it as you're going. I'm aware of that just now. You know, the times that I have savoured it in the past, which I've been very aware of, but it's never enough. It's a life experience as you're going through it, and how much you soak it in and capturing it with the photographs, or whether it's the videos now, or, you know, great to look back on and great to savour. But also at the same time, we keep moving forward, we didn't stop. And there's so much good stuff going on just now, and so many good people going about just now, and so much light within this world, that it is an exciting time, I do believe, to be alive. There are so many answers in so many ways that we can make this world better, and they're right in front of our nose, literally. They start there with the intentional breath, you know, right literally in your nose. That's how it begins. Learn to breathe properly, back to basics. I mean, how simple can it be? And then from that point, once we learn how to switch off the stress and we get a break from the mind and the intellect, then we go inside, and at that point it's game on. Love and light, onwards and upwards. Sending my best to you and yours. I look forward to see you again, hopefully in the future. Peace out and bye for now. Namaste.